Yuta has immortality and eternal youth. No matter how much time passes, he doesn't age. He's lived for hundreds of years. Being able to heal rapidly from almost any injury sounds like a cool superpower. For Yuta, this is precisely the problem. Mermaid Saga is about an immortal's ages-long quest to try to find a cure for his immortality. Being young forever and not aging seems like it would be awesome, but not to Yuta. Yuta is the main character of this action-packed and suspenseful series. Given its themes about immortality, this story takes place over many different historical eras. Mermaid Saga is about a young fisherman who eats the flesh of a mermaid and gains immortality. Subsequently, the story is about Yuta's lifelong attempts to find a cure for his immortality so he can grow old and cease being immortal. Along the way, he meets and rescues a girl named Mana, who also gained immortality from eating the flesh of a mermaid. The story is then about their travels together. Since Yuta has lived a long life, the story sometimes takes place in modern times, and other times the story flashes back to Yuta's past and takes place in a distant past. The series features dark themes and a lot of violence, with a large amount of gore and death throughout the series. The characters travel around on their journey, meaning that besides the two main characters, there is a whole new set of characters every story arc. The series was written by Rumiko Takashi. Takashi is notable for the large number of major works she's done that have had a big influence on the manga and anime industries. She's written a large number of different works throughout her long career. She was born in 1957 and was a huge fan of manga and anime since she was little. She made her debut with the publication of Those Selfless Aliens in Shonen Sunday in 1978. Soon after, she began publication of her first major work and hit Yurusa Yatsura. In that same year, in 1980, she began publication of her second serialized work, Meisa no Koku. Other major works she's done over the years are Ranma 1/2 in 1987, Inuyasha in 1996, Rin Ni in 2009, and Mao in 2019. All these works except Mao have had anime adaptations. In addition, she's done a major number of one-shots and short stories, many of which have also had anime adaptations. At the time the series started, Rumiko Takashi was working on both Yurusa Yatsura and Meisa no Koku separately. Yurusa Yatsura was a weekly series, and Meisa no Koku was every other week. Mermaid Saga was the notable shift from those works, which were both lighthearted and comedic. Mermaid Saga, in contrast, would be a dark and violent story. This wasn't her first story to be dark and gritty. She had previously made the one-shot The Laughing Target 1 year previously, but this was her first serialized series to feature darker themes. The Laughing Target is about Yuzuru Shiga, who is engaged to his cousin, Azusa Shiga. Yuzuru wants to break off the engagement to be with another girl. The story is about Azusa's attempts to violently retaliate against them for breaking the engagement. For those familiar with Inuyasha, another work done by Takashi, that also features darker themes and more violence, a series like Mermaid Saga would not stand out as much. But to those familiar only with her major works before Inuyasha, a series like that must have seemed to come across as quite a shift. During the publication of Mermaid Saga, Takahashi began serialization of her next major work, Ranma 1/2, after the conclusion of Yurusa Yatsura and Meisa no Koku in 1987. The series would be released concurrently in Shonen Sunday until Mermaid Saga stopped publication in 1994. Ranma would go on to be made for another 2 years before concluding. Mermaid Saga first appeared in Shonen Sunday S, a monthly sister magazine to Shonen Sunday, the publication in which Takahashi's major work, Yurusa Yatsura, was published. Both magazines are published by the same company, Shogakukan. The series premiered in 1984 and was published in that magazine for a year. After that, the series was published infrequently in Shonen Sunday from 1987 to 1994. The manga has 16 chapters in 3 volumes. 2 OVAs were released in the early 90s, one in 1991, the second in 1993. They were 55 minutes and 45 minutes respectively. so altogether about the equivalent of 4 or 5 episodes. They were made by Studio Pastel and Madhouse. In 2003, the series had a second anime adaptation. A full 13-episode anime was made and aired on television. The series was aired on TV Tokyo and was made by TMS Entertainment. The second series covers almost the entirety of the manga. Unlike most of Takahashi's other long-running episodic series, there aren't many characters in this story. Only 2 main characters are featured throughout the story for more than a single arc. Yuta is a 500-plus years old immortal. He was a fisherman who ate the flesh of a mermaid one day, and that gave him immortality. He has spent the last centuries wandering around, trying to find a cure to break the curse of immortality on him. Mana was a girl who was fed the flesh of a mermaid when she was 16. She was raised by a group of mermaids to be eaten by them. She was rescued by Yuta and now travels around with him. She is also immortal. She's from more modern times, only being born in 1964. In North America, the series was translated and released by Viz Media. The series was released between 1993 and 1997 in 3 volumes. It was later re-released in 4 volumes in 2004. The first 2 OVAs were released by Viz Media in 1995. The dub was done by Ocean Productions. The 2003 series was released by Genion in 2005. The dub was made by New Generation Pictures. Interestingly, these groups also released Rumiko Takahashi Anthology around this time, another series that was also written by Rumiko Takahashi that was made into an anime series around the same time. To this day, the story remains unfinished, and it remains unclear if this work will ever be completed.